I'm glad you're here. Follow my story until the end and comment the city you're watching from so I can see how far my story has reached. Last year, I was invited to a ceremony at Columbia University, a Lifetime Achievement Award for contributions to the women's rights movement. But the award wasn't for me. It was for my mentor, Dr. Eleanor Whitfield, the woman who had guided me, supported me, and taught me everything I knew about activism. I sat in the audience watching her accept the honor, listening to her speech about all the campaigns she had led, all the articles she had written, all the laws she had helped change. And then she said something that made my blood run cold. In 1972, I wrote a manifesto that changed the course of women's reproductive rights in this country. I wrote that manifesto, every single word, and for 50 years she had been taking credit for it. My name is Gloria. I'm 90 years old, and this is the story of how I finally reclaimed what was mine. I met Eleanor Whitfield in 1965. I was 30 years old, a young journalist trying to write about women's issues when no one wanted to publish them. Eleanor was already famous, a professor at a prestigious university, a regular guest on television panels, a voice that people actually listened to. She found me at a small rally in New York, handing out pamphlets I had written myself. She read one and looked at me with those sharp gray eyes. "You have talent," she said, "but talent without a platform is just noise. Work with me, and I'll give you the platform." I was thrilled. Eleanor Whitfield wanted to mentor me. It felt like winning the lottery. What I didn't understand was that I wasn't her student. I was her ghostwriter. For the next 15 years, I wrote everything: her speeches, her articles, her policy proposals, even her book, the one that became a bestseller and cemented her reputation as a feminist icon. The arrangement seemed fair at first. She had the connections. I had the words. Together, we could change things. "Your ideas will reach millions through me," she told me. "Isn't that what matters, the message, not the messenger?" And I believed her, because I was young, because I was grateful, because I thought the cause was bigger than my ego. In 1972, I wrote the manifesto that Eleanor mentioned in her speech. 47 pages about reproductive rights, bodily autonomy, and the legal framework needed to protect women's choices. I spent 8 months researching. I interviewed doctors, lawyers, women who had suffered. I wrote and rewrote every paragraph until the words sang. When I gave it to Eleanor, she read it in silence. Then she looked up at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. "This is extraordinary," she said. "This could change everything." 2 weeks later, the manifesto was published in every major newspaper. Eleanor's name was on every page. Mine was nowhere. "We agreed," she reminded me when I asked. "Your words, my platform, the message reached millions. Isn't that enough?" I told myself it was. For 50 years, I told myself it was enough. By 1980, I had finally started building my own career. I left Eleanor's shadow, started my own magazine, organized my own campaigns. But Eleanor's reputation kept growing. Every interview, she talked about her manifesto. Every award, they cited her groundbreaking work. Every history book mentioned her contribution to women's rights. And I stayed silent because she was my mentor, because I owed her my start, because speaking up felt like betrayal. But something changed when I turned 89. A young journalist named Maya Chen contacted me. She was writing a book about the women's movement, and she wanted to interview the supporting players, the women behind the famous names. "I've been researching Dr. Whitfield's archives," Maya told me, "and I found something strange. The original drafts of her manifesto, they're in a different handwriting than her other documents. The style is completely different, too." My heart started pounding. "What are you suggesting?" "I'm suggesting that someone else wrote it, and I think that someone might be you." For the first time in 50 years, someone had seen the truth. Maya's research led her to more evidence. Letters I had written to Eleanor with draft ideas, notebooks with my handwriting that somehow ended up in Eleanor's archives, Even a recorded phone call from 1973 where Eleanor told a colleague, "Gloria wrote most of it, but we can't let that become public." When Maya played me that recording, I cried, not from sadness, from relief. After 50 years of doubting myself, of wondering if I was being petty or ungrateful, I finally had proof. Maya wanted to publish everything immediately, expose Eleanor, set the record straight. But I stopped her. "Not yet," I said. "Let me handle this my way." A month later, I received the invitation to Eleanor's Lifetime Achievement Ceremony, and I knew exactly what I had to do. I sat in that auditorium watching Eleanor accept her award, listening to her talk about her work, her words, her legacy. And when the ceremony ended, I walked up to her. "Eleanor," I said, loud enough for the people around us to hear, "congratulations on your award. I'm curious, do you remember who actually wrote that manifesto you keep talking about?" Her face went white. "Gloria," she whispered, "this isn't the place." "You're right," I said. "The place was 50 years ago, but you never gave me that chance. I didn't make a scene. That's not who I am. But I did something better." Maya published her book 3 months later. The Invisible Authors, Women Who Built the Movement Without Getting Credit. An entire chapter was dedicated to me and Eleanor. She included the letters, the notebooks, the recording. She documented 15 years of work that I had done under Eleanor's name, the manifesto, the speeches, the policy proposals, everything. The response was overwhelming. Women's organizations issued statements acknowledging my contributions. Universities invited me to speak. Journalists who had interviewed Eleanor for decades called to apologize for never asking the right questions. And Eleanor? She released a statement saying she was disappointed by the misleading narrative in Maya's book. She never admitted anything. She never apologized. But here's what surprised me most. I didn't need her apology. For 50 years, I had waited for Eleanor to acknowledge me, to thank me, to admit that I had been essential to her success. But the truth doesn't need permission. Once it's out, it speaks for itself. Last month, Columbia University contacted me. They wanted to correct the historical record. The 1972 manifesto, the one that changed reproductive rights in this country, would now be officially credited to both Eleanor Whitfield and Gloria Turner. My name, finally, after 52 years. I'm 90 years old. I've spent my whole life fighting for women's rights. And the cruelest irony is that another woman was the one who tried to erase me from that fight. But I'm not angry anymore. I'm grateful. Grateful that Maya found the truth. Grateful that I lived long enough to see my name restored. Grateful that the work, my work, actually did change things, even when no one knew it was mine. Some people ask me why I didn't speak up sooner, why I waited 50 years. The honest answer? I was afraid. Afraid of being called ungrateful. Afraid of being seen as jealous. Afraid that no one would believe me. But here's what I've learned. Silence doesn't protect you. It only protects the people who benefit from your silence. If you're watching this and someone is taking credit for your work, your ideas, your creativity, your labor, please hear me. Don't wait 50 years. Don't wait for someone else to discover the truth. Don't wait until you're 90 years old to claim what's yours. Your name matters. Your contribution matters. And no mentor, no boss, no partner has the right to erase you from your own story. If this story touched you, share it. Tell me in the comments. Has anyone ever taken credit for your work? What did you do about it? Because the world is full of invisible women whose names should have been on the page. I'm Gloria. I'm 90 years old, and my name is finally where it belongs.